What's going on, guys? It's a little early in the morning today. As you can see, pretty early and I'm pretty tired, but I wanted to make this video regardless because I'm up already. So in this video we're talking about AngelList. AngelList? People say Angels List, but it's actually just AngelList, just singular. Anyways, it's a website just for startups, and I think startups are probably the most underrated when it comes to getting a job for a junior developer. That's why I want to showcase it to you. You can work remote, you can work, in the office, and there's just more and more startups every day. And the reason that you should try to work at a startup, it does get you, it gets your foot in the door, and that's a big part of this industry as a junior developer. It gets your foot in the door. You can say that you've been paid to code, you've worked on some production-ready piece of code, it's out there in the world, people are using it, assuming if the startup failed, the product is still up there in some capacity where you can show it off. The downfall to working at a startup is that 80% of startups fail. So by going into a startup, you're gonna know, you might not have a job. Here's some things, right? So the pay is gonna be a little bit lower because they have investor money, so they have to budget that well. They have a burn rate. The burn rate is at the rate that the startup is spending their money, and usually there's like doomsday, which is where the startup runs out of money if they don't get any more money or if they don't start becoming profitable. And so that can be kind of stressful for some people. Startups sometimes don't offer any benefits, or they have some modified version of benefits. Instead of getting healthcare, you'll get like $200 a month subsidy for healthcare that you can put towards it, or they'll give you other things. In addition to that, startups can kind of have a hectic work-life balance. You might end up working 12, 13, 14, 15 hours a day and then coming back to work and doing it again. And I know if you watch Silicon Valley, you see people with like Nerf guns, like shooting people with Nerf guns and stuff, and it's like super fun. And it was like the one I worked at, there was like a Wii and an Xbox and this little couch area, but like no one ever played it, really. I mean, it was a cool environment, but like, do you want to be the guy that's getting up at lunch to go play Xbox, or do you want to be the guy at lunch that's sitting and working through lunch to, be really dedicated to that startup? And those are just some things I noticed when I was working at a startup, and that's how I got my foot in the door. And they told me to come in, and they gave me a test, and I went home, and then I did the test, and I brought the test back, and I thought I just bombed it, but he came in and he was like, "Yeah, this is really great, but you just don't have any experience, so we can't hire you." And I was like, "Well, hold on, wait. Let's do part-time or something." And he was like, let me think about it. And then he called me back and he's like, "Yeah, let's do it." And that was me applying to like this full stack experience required position that I knew I wasn't qualified for, but I didn't care. If you look on AngelList today, there's actually a lot of startups that are looking for junior developers. One thing that I would advise against is that there are companies that offer only equity, which means that you're not getting paid. You're basically getting stock in the company, but you can't do anything with that stock unless the company goes public or it gets bought out by another company. And so if 80% of startups fail, just think about like the chances of you getting money from that are 20% of just by staying up and running, and then whatever the percentage is chance of you getting bought out or going to an IPO and going public and then having investors and being on the stock market and all that stuff. So those are just some things to think about with a startup. But a startup gives you a lot of creative power. Now this might intimidate some people, and then for other people it might be like, wow, I have the ability to make a difference. Yeah, you do, because there's only like 9 of you, and you're the only front-end developer junior guy. They're like, "Hey, we need this page to look like this." Well, now it's up to you. Now, if you're the type of person who needs to have your hand held and be walked through every single step, then startups are probably not for you. If you're the type of person who's like, "Give me a task and I'll try and figure it out to the best of my ability because I really like what you guys are doing, I'm going to give it a shot," then I would say 100% startups are for you. And that's kind of how I am. One thing that can kind of be a little bit scary with startups is that investors can hold your paychecks hostage. They can be like, "Yeah, we're not giving you any more money until you fix XYZ." And that happened where I was working, and that's why I don't work there anymore, because the business model had kind of been flipped, and the investors are like, "Yeah, so you guys aren't going to make any money doing this, and so we're not giving you any more money." And so if you know that you're not going to get any more money, your doomsday from your burn rate drastically, shortens the amount of time that you have until you're going to run out of money, and no one's going to have a job, and then everyone's just going to fall through, and it's not going to be good. But that being said, they're a great learning experience, and they know that they have these risks, and they know that they're offering you the ability to make a difference. And for some people it works, and for some people they just need that stability. They have family, kids, they need insurance. Well, at least, you know, if you're in the United States. But for some people like me, like I'm just a single dude, I'm just like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. I just want to learn. I just want to get paid to code. I know that I might mess this up, but you're giving me a chance, so I'm going to give you my best ability to not mess it up. I went to school for JavaScript, learned Angular, got my first job doing Ruby and Ruby on Rails. So that was kind of a wake-up call. We had talked about that in the boot camp. They're like, oh, it doesn't matter what you learn, you know. Once you learn one, it's kind of like learning the rest. But like JavaScript and Ruby are very different syntax. And it had only been 3 months and 3 weeks. So I went to the boot camp. I was there for 3 months. 3 weeks later, I was working. And I had no idea what I was doing. But I ended up learning a whole lot. Like I merged my own pull request on the first day. I shouldn't have been able to do that. That's kind of on them, but still at the same time it's on me. I didn't wait for approval from the CTO. I was just like, oh, well, I think once you're done, you merge it, right? Okay, accept pull request. God, it was bad. But you know, he comes up, he's like, Josh, never do that again. And I was like, yeah, you got it. And I was just surprised that I was still there the next day, which was super cool. Anyways, I think this video will be helpful for you. I'm going to walk you through AngelList.com. I'm going to show you how it works. It's kind of like LinkedIn a little bit. You have a little bit of a profile, and then there's a job board section. You can't directly apply to jobs on AngelList.com. You have to click a button that says, yes, I'm interested, and then you have the ability to send a note, and that note goes to the hiring manager, CTO, CEO, whoever's there at the startup getting these. And then if they decide that, hey, this is kind of interesting, they'll probably go look at your profile, and then they'll respond back to you. And then it'll say, they're interested in you as well, and then they'll send your resume over. It's kind of like Tinder, but you have to click yes, and then you have to, instead of swiping, you have to click yes and then type in a little. One thing you'll notice on there is that you'll see as you're scrolling through, you'll see like hot job, you know, it'll have like this little fire icon, and then it'll be like 150 people applied this week. Just realize there's a lot of people applying from out of the country that aren't even qualified to do it. There's a lot of people that just, you know, that are just applying. Don't get discouraged, just apply anyways. You never know when a startup's gonna get more money and then they're just gonna like ramp up hiring. So, you know, but this is a good place as a junior developer to get your foot in the door. And if you don't wanna do it long-term, if you don't wanna do a startup long-term, then don't do it. But just get your foot in the door and then get paid to code, build some experience, build a reference, don't burn any bridges while you're there, and then take that and then go get a job doing something closer to what you wanna do. But that's kind of the upfront part of this video. If you haven't seen that live stream yesterday, you should go check that out. I started off, I was just gonna do a motivational Monday, and then I ended up interviewing a girl from Lambda School on like her first day of Code Bootcamp and what that was like, and then that progressed into me somehow interviewing the CEO of Lambda School, and I had never talked to him before. He's like retweeted a video of mine, but that was the first time I ever talked to him. He's like, yeah, yo, I'll jump in right now, I'll jump into the Hangout, we can talk. And I was like, sure. So if you're ever thinking about a code school or a code boot camp where the CEO is actually answering the tough questions, we're like, you know, couldn't someone theoretically dodge the, like, we're asking tough questions directly to the CEO because I don't want to be that guy that's like, it's everything and more that you've ever wanted it to be. Like, I didn't want it to be that way. So I don't know, it was a really cool experience. So if you're interested, check out that live stream. It was super cool. It's totally unplanned. Basically the entire thing. And if you have any questions, comments, leave them in the description. Actually, don't leave them in the description. Leave them in the comment section below. It's still 5 a.m. for me, right? There's a Discord. I'd love to have you in the Discord. I will welcome you personally to the Discord. If I don't, call me out on it. But, you know, give me a day. If you do it at like 2 a.m., I'm probably asleep. That's not fair. Another thing that I have to say is a shout out to the patrons who support the channel on my Patreon. So we have the Martin Fee and we have Laszlo right now. And then there are some other supporters, and I really appreciate all your support for the channel. If you're interested in that, check it out. I think I have some pretty cool porks for you. Yeah, I have some pretty cool bacon for you. All right, guys, let's jump into the Angels List. I'm gonna show you how this works. By the way, if you want to see more videos like this, click the subscribe button, click the bell. I'd really appreciate that. You'll get notified whenever I upload, which is basically every day at this point. So let's really jump in now. All right, so you're gonna come up here to the URL bar of whatever browser you're in. You're gonna go to angel.co. This is where you're gonna land. It's gonna ask you to create an account. So go ahead and click join, fill out the info. I've already done that, so I'm gonna go ahead and click login. Up here at the top right, log in. And then you're gonna get this little page here, but it's actually probably gonna ask you to walk you through filling out your profile. So we can come over here and we can look at this. And then you come in here and you fill out your you fill out your profile, kind of like just like LinkedIn. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure you can just connect it with LinkedIn. So you start filling out this, you put your experience, you put your projects that you're proud of. So this was the first project that I ever made. Some other stuff that I've worked on. You put your education, what I do, achievement, skills, all this stuff. It's basically like LinkedIn, but kind of the same page. So basically how this works is once you click yes, I'm interested to a startup, they'll come over here to your public profile and they'll check it out and see if you're a good fit or not. But you know, not always. Sometimes I've just gotten called directly because I think you can add your phone number here too. So let's go to jobs up here at the top. Then you can sort. So it's kind of like LinkedIn also, and then the fact that you can put that you're open to offers and stuff. You can let people know that you're like actively looking for jobs. So one of the things we need to look at first is this filters bar up here. There's a whole lot of compensation. You can take the equity, which is, you know, the stock in the company basically, if you're interested in that, or you can do compensation. Job type, we have full-time contract, internship, co-founder, and will sponsor visas. So this is another way to get an H-1B visa, at least for the US, and you can get visas for companies that are outside the US. You can go to location, and then you can come down here and put remote okay for remote jobs. Top locations, this is saying this for me because of basically I live here, so it's using my geo tag for that. You have all kinds of jobs: software engineer, designer, operations, sales, and then you have keywords over here, company, and then more filters and alerts. So we'll start out with Salt Lake City. Front-end developer, 40 to 80. Oh, so they're offering stock in the company. That's pretty sweet. C# backend developer, 60 to 80, they're offering 0 to 1% stock. So you don't get this right away in most companies. Most companies have an agreement where you need to be at the company for what's known as a vesting period. So you can't actually, you don't get all of it right away. So that's kind of how that works. And so you would just click apply now. This is the little note I was talking about. You fill out this little note like, hey, I think I'm a great fit, blah, 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 right? And then you click apply, and then it will get sent to them, and you'll get an email, and it'll say your application's on its way. And if this person says they're interested in you too, suddenly you'll get another email, and it will be the CEO's tag or the CTO's tag or whoever. It will be their email message, you know, tagged with you, so that you guys can start emailing each other. So this is one of those jobs. You'll notice, see 43 applicants this week, and there's only one job. So that's because it's remote okay. You're always going to see remote okay jobs with loads of applicants. So what you want to do is you want to put the city that you live in and then put remote okay. So that way you can go into the office for an interview and then be like, yeah, I'm just going to work remote for real once I get the job though. And that's a lot easier than them having to fly someone out from like New York City or Maine or, you know, somewhere across the country where they don't live. And so if I put Salt Lake City remote okay, oh, this one only has one. Oh, so no salary, no equity. So if you're looking for a volunteer job, so yeah, no salary. So this is a pet health and activity management. They're not paying you anything, and they're looking for co-founders for software and mobile. So they're giving you between 1% and 5% of the company. Again, keep in mind, 80% of startups fail. You have a 20% chance of just keeping this, and then a smaller chance because it needs to get bought out or go public before you can actually sell it to make money off of your percent. So you'll notice if I just put junior, you'll see 1,604 startups are looking for a junior whatever. Let's look up junior and remote, because these are like the most prestigious jobs. Is it possible for me to work remote in another country and be a junior? Well, it is. So as you can see, junior full stack developer, remote okay, London, 30 to 40,000 British pounds per year and 0.5% equity in the company. We also have senior, okay, tech support wizard, yeah, pass on anything that says wizard, ninja, or Jedi. New York City, Toronto, so junior web application developer, so 55 applicants. Here we go, junior graduate, remote content writer. So these aren't even like tech jobs, and you can see 274 applicants. So if you're gonna apply to one of these, you better like send a resume made of gold to offer them actual value, or maybe send them a video resume or something like that. front-end engineers, so that's kind of neat. 46 applicants, full-time remote, okay, and you got the 6-figure salary. So of course loads of people are going to be on that. Remote junior developer, 10K to 30K Hong Kong, so that's why the salary is a little bit low. Junior backend software engineer, 85 to 95K. You'll see 75 applicants, Santa Monica, California, but they're not remote. So if you factor in that, this is more closely related to somewhere like I live, and I would say this is more like 65 to 80. Let me show you some other things. If we come up here to the top and then we look on the left, you'll see interested in you. And what this means is that companies can find your profile and then click interested in you. And then you can get, so if I click this right now, you may see, no, okay, that's depressing. Really, nobody? All right, well, sometimes I get emails saying that X company is interested in you, and then you log on to this and you go to here, and then you can see the company that's interested in you. Now, I don't know how often companies are going through actual candidates and looking, or actually how that works. Maybe if you're like a celebrity or something, you're really popular. But sometimes I get interested in you, sometimes I don't. Usually they're from local jobs. Starred, obviously these are jobs that you have starred. Applied, self-explanatory. Skip, obviously there's a skip button, so you won't see it anymore. And then you have matches, which are companies that have expressed mutual interest in you. And then at the bottom you have messages, so you can either do the emailing that opens up to you once you both swipe on each other pretty much, or you can come here and then do it directly. So anyways, you can see active 9 hours ago, 9, and then the further you scroll down, I think it's automatically sorted by that. Nope, I'm totally wrong. That was misinformation 2 hours ago. One thing you'll want to look at is why us, founders, and then look at the funding. So just because they offer you a job, you don't know how much money they have left. So look at the funding that they got. They had $4 million in 2017. This is who sponsored that, or these are the investors that gave them the money. And then they got another $1 million the first one was $1 million in 2015, and then another $4 million in 2017. So make sure you check on how much money they have. You know, if you see $200,000 in seed money in 2014, and then they're offering $150K salary, you got to be like, wait, hold on. It's been like 4 years, and you're offering a salary of $200,000 or $150,000, and you've only had $250,000 of money. How you have that much money left? Like, you gotta be careful. I get some connection requests every now and then, but I've never really used it. LinkedIn restricts you to your connections. Like, you can't message people unless you have so many connections or they're quote unquote in your network. And I'm not sure if this is what AngelList is moving towards, but they do have an option that says in network. So if you just want to sort by your friends and all the people that they know or places that they've worked, you can do that by checking this in network button. Startups know that they have a lot of risk involved, so they're willing to take, you know, people that show passion and people that can learn. So be prepared to wear a lot of different hats at a startup. If you're that type of person who likes to do a little bit of everything, you're the back-end developer, but you're also customer support, and you're doing, you know, some icon design. Like, be prepared to do something like that. If that excites you, if you really want to get a chance to do more than just what you learned at Code Bootcamp or Code School or self-taught, like if you want to get a chance to be assigned responsibilities that are outside your comfort zone, a startup is going to give it to you. And they know that, and some people that just totally turns them off. But they're willing to offer you a chance. Most people at startups are, you know, younger, closer to my age, maybe younger than me, and they're willing, you know, they're human people. So like when you go to the interview, just be like, look, you know, is there any way we could do X, Y, Z? Just try to talk with them. Just be a human with them. And a lot of times that will go a lot further than just a corporate job, you know. Corporations have to follow the handbook, and, you know, there's probably no handbook, and that'll be your first task as a developer. But anyways, I hope this was helpful. I hope this was comprehensive. And if you want to see more videos like this again, click that little subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.